Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all you've got to do is practice. Practice makes perfect, and that is the epitome of the Painting with Menoth John show. Perfection. Technical and painting perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, you have tuned in to the pre-Yule episode of the Painting with Menoth John show. Of course, I am your intrepid explorer of the things that are painting. I am Menoth John, and of course, you know him, you love him. He is the wind beneath my wings, the mighty right hand of the podcast. He's been there for year after year. He is Mr. John Spencer, pointing the wrong direction.
Heyo.
Hey! One of these days, we're going to figure out how to reverse the camera so that I point in the right direction. But that day is not today. You know, John, we're almost at the end of the dumpster fire that is uniquely 2020.
You are damn right. I am super happy for everyone who's had a great year.
Mhm.
This is awesome. It gives me hope. But, man, this dumpster fire needs to get pushed into the ocean.
We can expect a better year next year, I think. I think that we can expect a better year. I mean, I'm not setting the bar like real super high here.
What would the year have to do to be worse?
I mean,
Remember we almost got into war with Iran? That
Yeah.
was this year.
there's some
Kobe died? Fucking Christ, that was this year.
there's like an entire book in the Bible, like the book of Revelations, just has those people in the book of those people had a bad damn year. I mean, the sky turned to blood. There was, oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, that probably happened at some point during 2020, but I mean, I think we're off. We're gonna have a good start.
They're saying that for 24th and 25th, we might be going through some weird, I don't know, solar activity, and it might get like auroras or something. Maybe the sky will turn to blood. Holy shit.
Well, I mean,
Could all happen.
so far, I haven't seen a pale rider. We don't have those crazy pestilence that were coming that made your skin burn. I don't know. It's hard to say. We did have murder wasps, however. Man,
What happened to the murder hornets? They just sort of disappeared.
murder hornets are nothing compared to the recounts going on in all these battleground states. Let me tell you. Hey, we got to the politics. We're T plus 4 minutes and counting, and we've mentioned politics. But you know what that means, John? If we're already mentioning politics, that means we're already behind on a beverage update. So,
Oh shit, you're right.
So I'm having gastrointestinal distress today. Earlier today I had a spicy Bloody Mary mix. I didn't put any vodka in it, which is probably why it burned my gut, because it didn't have that good alcohol to kind of soften the blow.
That's special water.
Oh, yeah, and it could. I needed something to cushion the blow because, whoo, spicy meatball, and so I only told that story because it felt like something to say on the internet, talking about your colon issues. But for my drink tonight, I drove to Illinois to get this. Now, pot is legal in the state of Illinois, but this is not pot. I've been watching a lot of like bartender shows on the YouTubes. There's, of course, How to Drink, which is a fan favorite. Comes out, I believe, the greater Maryland or Connecticut or someplace like that.
Jersey. I think
Jersey.
he's around Jersey.
You've said that before, and I missed on that one. And the what he's talked about on the show, as is Steve the bartender, who is an Australian fella. And they've talked about a coffee liqueur that I cannot get in the state of Wisconsin. Now you're thinking to yourself, how could it possibly be that there's a liquor on this planet that is not available in the state of Wisconsin? And it turns out that liquor is something called Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. Knew that was coming.
Yeah, Mr. Black. This is a cold brew coffee liqueur. And it turns out that we were at a liquor store called Binny's in Gurnee, Illinois, which is where Great America is. And I was like, Belinda's mom got an air fryer for Christmas. And we had to go to Gurnee because that was the closest Best Buy that had it in stock. And I went, hey, you know what else is in Gurnee? Mr. Black.
Alcohol.
Mr. Black. And so we went into the Binny's and got me some Mr. Black. And in there is a little card that tells you how to make a Mr. Black Old Fashioned. Now, what makes this an Old Fashioned? Utterly beyond me. Because an Old Fashioned has fruit in it that you muddle, and then you've got some brandy and some vermouth or something. It's like a yard and a half away from a Manhattan. And but this is Mr. Black 1-to-1 with whiskey, and in this case, it is I'm using Old Forester Blue Label. It's a good whiskey. It's a good drinking whiskey.
Old Forester's good.
Yeah, and so I made a tumbler of it. It's just a double, so
yeah, it's. I'm not sure that's an old fashioned at all. I think that's just a. We didn't know what the fuck to call it, so
yeah, it's old fashioned to me. So I guess
they couldn't come up with like a dark and stormy, which is basically just a mule with rum instead of vodka.
They could have said it was midnight in Louisville, or Mitch's Heart.
Oh, it's not black enough.
Mitch McCann. You're right, but it wouldn't taste as good as this does. So this is this is what it is. It's very Mr. Black forward. I'm chewing a little ice here. That's good. That's good broadcasting, right? When you chew ice into the microphone.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the Old Forester is not. It's pretty well in the background. I mean, you can tell it's been proofed up a little bit. It's got a little bit of booziness to it, but other than that, it's a fine little drinking cocktail. I will say that much for it. What do you have in this evening?
Force Blow.
See, it's such an old classic, the Force Blow. For those of you who are maybe new to the show, considering there's all of three people watching, which I have to believe that one of them is me, one of them is you, and the other one's Legionnaires.
That's true.
So the Force Blow is, of course, 1 or 2 shots of Kraken filled a tumbler up with orange juice, or however much Kraken you put in there.
About to say 1 or 2 shots, I have a problem.
Yeah, no, it's probably maybe like 5 or 6 in a tumbler like that.
Because respectfully, I need to get fucked up. I'm not having a good everything. But it's all good. I mean, I'm in good health. I got to pay my bills. It's all good. It's just,
Yeah.
It's actually good. Overall, it's good. I retract. Just want to get fucked up.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that. So on behalf of John and I, to you, Legionnaires, for being here live with us, bless your heart.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ron.
Ron.
All right.
Oh, and Legionnaires mentioned cocktail chemistry, which is actually one that I very much like, and actually how I ended up watching Binging with Babish, because they had a crossover episode, and then I just followed both.
Yeah, no, cocktail chemistry is plenty fun. I've seen that before. Do we have a special episode for you, Legionnaires? This is a very special episode for you. But before we get into the episode, I think it would be a good idea to show off what I completed since the last show. I'm going to see if I can put a little light on this bad boy here to get a little...
Let's shed some light on this.
Let's shed a little light on this subject. So this is Melvin and Mayhem, and I'll try to hold him steady enough so that the motion blur isn't too dramatic. But I think he turned out quite well. I was when last seen on this, he had I chose bog moss for some reason for the shoulder pads, and then I was going to do purple, and it was like, oh my god, it's the worst color ever. And so I went back to an orange. I used some of the let's see, it's called Citrus Orange by Minotaur, and I of course highlighted that with one of my favorite colors, a radiated yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But the fun part on this model is I did a little paint chipping technique, which is something that Ash Barker did on his Gorilla Miniatures channel. And all you basically have to do is you come by with a brush and I chose to start with pig iron, a nice dark silver, and you just stipple it a little bit on the edges where you'd think you'd see some wear. And then I came back with some what the heck is it? The brighter one that I have, the Quicksilver. Just a small amount of that on certain high places where you'd think it would be kind of more of a shined up, where it maybe recently taken some damage. It says the purple makes it look like a base jack from Lail, which is really appropriate for Riot Quest. And to be honest, my Merc jacks are tend to be purple and gray, kind of taking that Laylee's purple. So that's where I got the idea was to make it a little Mercish, perhaps. And then he's got some orange in there because, hey, a gobber's got to be a gobber. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think he turned out pretty well. And I liked how the green of the gobber was such a contrast to everything else. It helps make him really pop out. So I think that's a pro tip there for somebody who's not a pro. And to say, hey, that's a little something that can draw your eye. And it turned out really good. The Zenithal shading worked exceptionally well on this one. Especially, it's a little bit hard to see, but on the face. It gave the face of the robot a lot more definition. I don't know if I can hold him up here, maybe a little bit closer without it, autofocus being what it is. Good luck with all that. But there are some pictures on my, if you follow Menoth John on Instagram, and we got all them socials. Those grams get to you so fast you don't even know what the hell hit you. Those kids today, they got the TikToks and the instant grams, and when I was growing up, I just had golden grams. So these kids today, they just
I still have golden grams, sir.
Golden grams are delicious, and don't let anybody tell you different.
I've said before in this very podcast, golden grams are my shit.
Golden grams are utterly delicious.
So honestly, Honey Nut Chex, actually pretty good too.
Honey Nut Chex. So I remember when Honey Nut Chex was invented. I worked on that startup, believe it or not, and boy, what a pain in the ass those things are to make. They are the stickiest thing on the planet, but they're very tasty. Very tasty.
See, there you go. You don't come here just for the miniatures, everyone. You come here to learn those hardcore old cereal facts.
Oh yeah. Can't tell you much about that coffee because I'm still under contract, but cereal I can spill my guts on. So anyway, we're going to open up boxes of Riot Quest tonight, John.
Yay!
Yay! And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I'm contractually obligated to say, make sure you subscribe and press the bell so that you get notified every time Painting with Menoth John comes on. And
smash that like button.
Smash it. Give it the business. And give it the business. And if you do, then the blood of an eagle will fly into a measuring device near you, and then you'll have the blood of the eagle, and if it's a small enough one, it'd be the blood of a sparrow. So keep that in mind.
Shit, that's a hell of a callback.
That's a callback right there. That's a professional podcasting we got going on.
I am really impressed with that one. That one is very, very good.
Yeah, we haven't sold merch in a long time. But anyway, so let's get to this. So I backed to the Kickstarter, John. John, were you aware that Privateer Press had a Kickstarter?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
They had a Kickstarter because they do have probably some cash flow issues these days, and one of the ways they can get around that is by having the Kickstarters.
Yeah, that's true.
That way they know how many of these things to make, and they don't end up getting stuck with buying back a bunch of stock. So, nothing beats a camera angle that you can basically see nothing but the corner of like some tape and and I'm going to put this over here because I got to transition the cam. You can see a little bit of the tape, and then there's like this big chunk of a box. So I'm going to show opening this tape here to prove that this is sealed. You'll see, and you'll notice that it's sealed because I would never have any other tape here in the house. And no, I was not a full Kickstarter backer. I was a at the time I was like, the first time I backed it, I was drunk, and then I woke up and I said, I shouldn't do that, and then but then I got into the Riot Quest a little bit, and before the end of the Kickstarter campaign, and I went, I'm gonna back this, and then I backed it sober. So there you go, kids. That's a lesson from your uncle Menoth John.
Yeah, don't back things drunk.
No, Kickstarter, not when you've had a couple of sociables. Don't do it. So we're opening the box. It's a standard box. I'm guessing it's probably Uline, so it's full of terrible people. This cardboard oppresses people. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up.
Throwing shots at Uline now.
F Uline. So this is what I purchased. So it's showing me here that I got the Wintertime Wasteland starter, and I can't show this on camera because it's got my address on it. I got the Castle of the Dark Prince fabric playmat. I got the Wolf with No Name, and as my bonus, I got the Bounty Token Bounty Card deck. So we'll have to see what this is. So, oh hey, Legionnaires, darn it, I'm sorry to hear that the COVID has hit your family income. Hopefully now that Trump has decided to veto the bill so that everybody can get $2,000 and make Mitch McConnell's life a living hell, maybe we'll get $2,000. I genuinely hope that happens. Nothing makes me happy.
I do too.
Nothing makes me happier.
I don't need the money. I'll welcome the money, but there's some people who do need it.
Yep.
Just fucking do it.
Yep. And I think $600 was ridiculous and an insult. I think people, I don't know, say what you want about the Democrats, them agreeing to it. They had $1,200 or more 5-6 months ago. This should have been the third time there was a stimulus check sent out, or fourth. But you can blame old Yertle the Turtle Mitch for all this. But his little grand designs were short-circuited by Donald J. Trump when he vetoed the bill because it allowed military bases to still continue to be named after Confederates, and it didn't repeal protections against social media because they said bad, nasty things about him. So, cool. Maybe y'all gonna get some money now, and that's great. Thumbs up for money. All right. So the first thing, John, that's in my box of tricks. It's not really a box of tricks. It's a box of Kickstarter and mostly Riot Quest.
I mean, yeah, you don't need more cereal. You got cereal over there. I saw it.
I worked on tricks too, by the way.
Of course you did.
At one time or another, I've had my thumb in just about every child cereal that was made prior to 2008, because that's when I left. 2007. That's when I left General Mills.
That's why I don't buy a lot of those cereals now, because there's no Menoth John thumb.
I know, right? They should have come out with a cereal called Menoth Johnny-O's. That'd have been sweet. It would have been super sweet.
Both of us in there, since O was my middle initial. You could get the double there. Menoth Johnny-O's.
Menoth Johnny-O's. Sweet. That's amazing. It's like a twofer.
Don't even try it. It's great. That's how worth this.
This is fantastic. You know, folks, if you think that is something, I suggest you write to General Mills, and I'm sure they'll listen to you. So here you go, folks. Here's the first part. We're going to try and keep this off a crotch cam if at all possible. But this is your Riot Quest starter set for the Wintertime Wasteland. Okay? So we have some characters that are in the box. This is Boomhowler, the third iteration of Boomhowler now. Let's see if they have his names. They just call him Boomhowler in the back, but he's got a fancy name. We're going to show cards and all that stuff, and we'll talk about who all these fine, fanciful characters are. But we do have what appears to be like a Legion person here. We've got a Tharn in the back. We've got nondescript person with an owl. Her name's Black Bella. So, anyhow, so on the back we have some text written by Privateer Press. Nothing is more fun than listening to somebody read the back of a box on the internet. So I'm going to do that.
Shivers, huh?
Yeah, Shivers. It's Shivers. I think he is a baby Gorax. I think that's what they said it was. So, the once great. It's the end of the world as we know it. Time to get paid. That could also be the theme song for 2020.
You're damn right.
The once great Iron Kingdoms are now a pile of smoldering ruins, but there's treasure everywhere. If you've got the gumption to fight for it, you'll need a crackerjack crew, gobs of gear, and lots of love for the chaos of battle if you're going to score the best leftover loot in the land. But watch out! It's every human, dwarf, elf, and goblin for themselves in this outrageous quest for bodacious booty. You can almost hear Hungerford write this, can't you?
He's definitely seems to be a bit taken with the alliteration.
He does. Riot Quest is a fast-moving, highly unpredictable skirmish board game for up to 4 players using hobby miniatures. I will tell you, folks, that this game is more fun than it has any right to be. It is honestly a damn good time. It is fast. When you lose, it's like, okay, well, there just went 30 minutes of my life. Let's play again. And you'll probably get a different out. It's just random enough to not give a darn.
Oh, so it's like playing high-level War Machine. I lost. That's 30 minutes of my life. Let's try again.
Well, I mean, yes, at a tournament where you walk into the assassination. Been there, done that. I've had 30-minute 75-point games where after the third time of asking your model does what, I just said, it's okay. It's okay if you win. I don't need to play this anymore. And then I stopped playing War Machine.
Yeah.
But Mr. Black approves. So on here it says for ages 14 and up. I would argue you could teach this game to a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old pretty easily. It's really rules pretty light. It says 2 to 4 players. I would have to believe that 4 players might be a lot of fun in this thing. There will be miniatures all over the darn place, and you'll be screwing with each other hard. And you do generate a lot of loot tokens that way. You generate a lot of stuff going on. So, pretty awesome. So we got that in the box, and we will unbox this here shortly. But let's just kind of go over the contents of my box first. It came with packing paper. See, this is some pretty strong stuff right here. This is good to have. Packing paper. I did not pay extra for this.
I appreciate packing paper because it's easily recyclable.
That is a good thing too. And one of the things that they talked about is that Riot Quest in this one, and we'll see them probably for the first time, is the old plastic blisters are on their way out. They are going to recyclable paper as a means by which to put them in little boxes, and that'll be great. I wonder how many bits we'll lose, but maybe they'll come in little pouches like they did.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, you can easily put them in there. You don't need to see the model anymore. It's all artwork. Hell, it's always been artwork. You don't want to see an unpainted model. That's like, what does this model look like? Lead or resin or plastic?
Exactly.
Hard to tell.
Hard to tell. So I got this guy, and this is the wolf with no name. So this is kind of essentially a wolf as Clint Eastwood. It's like the man with no name from the spaghetti westerns. And this is the wolf.
I feel like he looks like another model.
He looks like the Gator sharpshooter.
That's the one.
In fact, before I got this model, I was using God, what the heck's his name? Longtooth or something like that, Snaggletooth or some nonsense. But yes, he looks just like it. I was using him as a proxy in our Riot Quest games, but now I can build this guy. And so this is actually kind of unusual for Riot Quest. He has a resin body. Most Riot Quest models are all metal, which is pretty interesting. I'm happy that this has a resin body. I really like their resins when they're done right.
Yeah, a body like that's actually much better in resin because you can get pretty decent moldings with it, and that much pewter is not cheap.
No, and it looks like it's about a. Oh, where is his head? There it is. So it's a 4-piece model. So this will go together pretty well and pretty easily. So there's that. Now this. So one of the things you have in Riot Quest is you have treasure cards, you have and you have bounty cards. So treasure cards basically give you special like loot and stuff like that that you can then use to buy equipment upgrades for your dudes, which is cool. Bounty cards are one of the ways you gain victory points. And one of the choices I had was there was a few at the level that I chose at. There were a few different rewards that I could choose, and I chose to get more of the bounty cards because this is how you get variety into the game. And if you throw these in, and then you've got more unexpected things that can happen in the game, which is what makes Riot Quest so much fun. But you've got, and I'll just read one of these. They're a little bit of a word salad, so I'm not going to read a whole bunch of these. But this one right here, who wore it better? The goal. If a hero causes super damage, which means if you there's two different damages on a character card, and we haven't talked like a whole lot about nuts and bolts on Riot Quest, so we'll go into it a little bit. But there's two different sort of hit values. You can hit it at the lower value or the higher value. If you get enough hits to get the higher value, it gets 2 damage instead of 1. That's super damage. It's very Monpok if you've ever played Monpok before. If your hero causes super damage to an enemy with the same base defense as the hero, so in other words, if the person's a 2/4 and this person, the target is a 2/4, they have the same base defense. That hero's controlling player claims this bounty. Note, same base defense means the exact same printed defense stat, both high and low, without calculating cover, spotter, etc. So they do a nice job on these cards of getting their words right, which is good. And that's one. And the first person to get 7 bounties, or 7, I should say, victory points, wins game. So it's super fast. And there's a whole crap. There's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bounties in this deck, which is great. So that's 12 new things that we'll see in the game. And that'll make it really fun. And then the piece de resistance.
And then
Is this, and I don't know if I can even show it very well on the camera, but we're gonna try. I'll probably have to hold it up in the air. Ooh, this is nice. The new playmat. Hang on. There he is. It's really I'm a little bit far away from the. Here we go. I don't know if you can how well you can see it. It's very brightly colored, lots of blues and purples and stuff like that. It's a hex base, so
neoprene.
It's neoprene. This is a mouse pad. And I'm going to put this down because I'm losing, feeling in my arm. But this is very nice. And it has one of the rewards was a digital reward. And it talks about this map adds trap doors. And so it's a trap. And you basically, if you're standing on one of the purple hexes, you can roll a die, and you can, depending upon the result of it, you either get immediately knocked down, or you can be placed on what is essentially one of the adjacent trapdoors, or if you get a super strike, which is 2 successes, you can move yourself to any one of them. So it's really fun. I think this is going to be really cool. All right. So that is the basics. So I got what one is it? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, something like that. 5 or 6 new dudes, five new dudes, along with my wolf, the wolf, and in the box. Let's go ahead and open up the box here of the base game, and we'll kind of show you what it's all about.
The hokey pokey says so in the song.
That's exactly what it's all about. All right, so let's see here. They had some leftover colossal boxes, so it's packed in a colossal box.
Well, using standardized sizes makes it easier, I think. And I love those inner trays. Those are so good for storage of so many things.
They are. Oh, I got more packing.
They're still recyclable.
More packing paper. I'm getting a small pile. You know, John, I got to get myself a little Mr. Black here. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
By the way, Belinda Librarian is in the studio. For all of you who are, she's working on a blankie. She made me a new blanket for Christmas, which was very nice. And now she's working on a new one for herself with little kitties on it. Mine has doggies on it. It turned out beautiful. She did a really nice job. Okay, so this is interesting. This is one of the models. It is in a
Yep.
wax paper bag.
Right?
Interesting.
They said they're going for recyclable.
I mean, I wonder if this is really recyclable. It's like
Well-
that glassine. You know what I mean? It's not really like wax paper. I may ask Belinda to comment on this. She knows this stuff really well. Hey, Belle. Oh, she's got her headphones on. She's listening to a show. But we'll get back to you on this as to whether or not wax paper is recyclable. Looks like John's
Nope,
looking it up right now.
Not recyclable.
Okay, well, it's
Coated with wax.
well,
That's easy, huh?
yeah. These are the plastic bubble packs are polyethylene terephthalate, which is absolutely recyclable. So maybe it's not as good anymore. I don't know.
It's probably just cheaper then.
It-
Oh well.
I mean, I
trying
think
to
you
be
can
nice.
get these like, I think basically what Privateer did was they went down to the local Chinese restaurant, and they got a whole bunch of wontons, and they emptied the wontons out and put models in it.
You know, I'd love some wontons right
Oh,
now.
man, some wontons.
I'm not gonna lie.
We had some Chinese, and I didn't have any wontons. I missed opportunities, man. All right, so here's a model. I can't tell you what it is. It's in a bag. Here's a different model. I assume it's different. This one has a yellow strip on it. This one has a red strip. I'm pretty sure this is how they got the packing correct for when they were packing the boxes. This one has a pink slip, so this one's been fired. This one has a black strip, and then this one here has a blue strip. This is little teeny tiny, so this must be the
Shivers.
the shivers. So, and then it comes in got a little box of strike dice. So these are the same exact dice that are in Monpok. They're but not the original Monpok. This is the new version of Monpok with the bigger dice. So this is the big form factor dice. These are nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, keep using the same dice for stuff. That's a good idea.
And it's a really good system. This is okay. So here, this is exciting. This is exciting. So let's open this up.
Legionnaires meat too. Chinese buffet. I'm gonna look like Bib Fortuna when I'm done.
All right, so he must have been Bibs Fortuna must have been hitting the buffet. He looked like he'd been living a little too large on the barge, if you know what I mean.
Let himself go a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say any more than that. That's
Okay.
about a spoiler tag, but
A little large on the barge.
a little large on the barge.
All right, so here we have. Oh, now see, now I'm shitting in tall cotton, John, because I got a second dice well. The original game that I had, I only bought one starter set, so I didn't have anywhere to put my dice. Now I have somewhere to put my dice. So
There you go.
Now we talked about Riot gear, and so these are the kinds of this is what you get that you can upgrade for a double dose of your pimpin' during the game, and you get these little coins are what you get as rewards from treasure chests, or if you kill a dude, they drop a coin, you walk over it, you get the coin, and when at any time you want, you can purchase Riot gear, but you can only have one Riot gear on per model. Okay,
Oh.
so in this case, this one says it's Mechanical Maniac. It's like a little wind-up butcher, if you can see the picture.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute. And this hero gains +1 power die to its melee attacks. That's the red. Those are the good die, power die, to its melee attacks and the flank ability. Flank enemies within 2 spaces of this model are -1 defense against melee attacks made by models in your crew. So he lowers the defense of things that are near him. Plus, it makes the thing that it's attached to hit harder. So this is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And then we have the walled body glove. So it's basically looks like a little walled, but it's like a stretchy suit. And this hero gains the hazard suit and pathfinder abilities. So hazard suit, this model cannot be knocked out by bounty effects and only suffers damage from enemy attacks. And this model treats all obstacle terrain as open terrain when moving, which is a kind of a big deal. I would pay 2 coins just to get Pathfinder
I want to
because
stay based on the way that looks, because molds are made of stone and wood, and I think that's made of wood, and I think that wood is going to chafe your wood.
I think that there's a strong chance that your wood would be chafed by
Oh,
wearing the
wood?
wold wood. Yes, very good. All right, so I got those 2 things. I'm a little bit surprised. Oh, see, this is like extras for some reason because all right, here we go. This is I don't know. I guess we've got some collectible cards here that show the hero and then gives their backstory.
That's cool.
So here's
That's a good way to do it.
Boom Howler, fighter hero. So there's that guy. And then here's Yisla. Yisla is a specialist hero. There are different classes of heroes. There's fighters. There's specialists. There's tell me they didn't give me another heiress. Oh God, I hope it's not really in here. I don't want to paint another heiress, John. I've painted 3 already. I got a 4th one to paint. I don't want to paint another one.
Heiress 17.
Oh my God.
Every expense an heiress.
Oh my God. We got Shiv. Let's see. Legionnaire has a question. So as an aside, I also play Warhammer Underworlds, and they recently added a rule that made high health models worth 2 glory, like the coins. Do you think PP might make models that are worth 2 coins? That's a really good point. I'm going to say yes because of a spoiler I saw on the PP thing that they did where they did kind of like a Night Before Christmas thing related to Riot Quest. And they finally showed what happened to Karchev. Karchev, and the Death Jack. You know, when a Karchev loves a Death Jack very, very much, you end up with this model that they have coming out, which is essentially if you kit bashed a Karchev model and a Death Jack together, and it's pretty badass looking. That thing looks like it could be worth 2 coins.
Fair enough.
Melvin and
here in the rules, it actually it seems so close yet so different than Warhammer Underworlds. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like some things are like, wow, that's really close to what they saw, what they have on Underworlds. And I'm like, but it sounds a lot different too. It's kind of weird.
So I was wrong. This is not a Tharn. This is Yuri the Hunter 2. So this is
he beefed up a little bit.
Yes, he did. It says after the claiming, Yuri set out to atone for his career as a state-sanctioned manhunter. He tried to live and let live, to find peace without violence, but death follows Yuri the way night follows day. And with the only tool in your toolbox is our headsman's axe, every obstacle looks like a head waiting to be severed. By the time he and Boomhauler had their near-fatal encounter in the north, they already had an unpleasant history. Thus, when Boomhauler recognized Yuri and ran toward him, arms flailing, Yuri reacted the only way he knew how. He lopped off the Trollkin's right arm at the elbow. To Boomhauler's credit, he only snarled, "Oi, I was just went in directions to the castle at the Dark Prince, you mucky half-head." Yuri realized he'd once again misjudged. These actually sound kind of entertaining to read at some point.
Right. Yuri definitely put on his gains, yo. He spent that time getting some gains.
I think he was hitting. I mean, he's got the protein powder. He's got the creatine. He's doing all that shit.
He's doing it all. He did not skip any day. He's got it all because he was a skinny guy.
He's got finger day going on. He's killing it. All right, here's Stone Cold Black Bella. She's the Duchess of Dread, the larceny lass, that filthy Thamorite pirate. Bella has gone by many names over the years. So what was the name of the one Thamorite model from back in the day on pirates? Was
Fiona the Black?
Fiona the Black. So this is not her. This is a different one. So anyway, so we're not going to read all of these on here, even though that's probably content, and we should never look content in the eye.
I do think it's cool. I like some people in certain hobbies don't like the little collector's cards, but I actually like them. Like one of my models or toys, figures, comes with a card, I'm actually really usually excited.
Yeah. I don't understand why Eris is in here again, though.
Because of Harris.
Oh my god, the poses are always the same. You know what would be sweet is if they did no quarter one Eris as a Riot Quest model and they slipped it in here.
Did you hear that?
That would be
Screams?
amazing.
Yeah,
that
do
would be
that.
amazing. All right, so, but I don't think they did that. I don't want to open these glassine things because I'm afraid they're just going to all, I'm going to lose parts. So, all right, so here we go. And then, of course, we have the token set. This is all the tokens you actually need to play the game.
Oh, cool.
These,
I don't mind cardboard tokens either. Cardboard tokens are plenty fine.
yeah, these are good. These are for injuries. These are the treasure chests. These are the tokens that are deal with bounties. So you've got like a bomb and the target of the bomb. You've got a trap. There's this like turret thing. It's fine. This is your little cooldown area. Now I've got 2 of these, so I can have a cooldown area. I was using the Painting with Menoth John large bases. This will be nicer. When you get knocked out, you don't die. You go into the cooler, and then you have to roll yourself out. And then you can respawn back into the game. And
Sort of like
then-
Blood Bowl.
What's that?
Sort of like Blood Bowl.
Just like Blood. Yeah, exactly. Another copy of the rules. Let's see if the printing's any better on these. That is. So this will be the version of the rules we use, because the printing isn't half-assed like my other box was. And then,
Ooh.
what's that?
I'm just saying, bad printing's not. I mean, it's not good.
Oh, it's okay. This one's a good one. It was in my other starter box. It was very bad. And then this is the paper version of that neoprene mat. So this will never be used.
Yeah, you can
So-
give that to somebody who has never gotten that set.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it's a Menoth John giveaway. Maybe we'll do that someday. Maybe we'll get back in the giveaway business. All right, so there you have it, folks. That's what's in here. I'm going to put the wolf in here and make sure I got all my stuff because this is a convenient place to put it. Got my dice.
It is. I love those things.
So I think over the next couple times that we have Menoth John here, we may assemble some of these. We're probably going to start painting them right away. Especially that little Gorax dude, Shivers. He looks like he's going to go together in a red hot second, and then paint very, very fast. So I'll have to think of something fun to do with his base so that he isn't just this like nub of metal sitting on the thing. So we have never talked about what's on a Riot Quest card. So let's talk a little bit about that. By the way, how much time we got here? 7:4. You know, we've talked for almost 45 minutes about opening a box, John.
Well, I mean, we started off talking about other politics and drinking.
Aha, indeed. Ron.
Just keep our standards. Oh, Ron. Yeah, success on this one. I'm getting fucked up.
It should just be those 5. Well, maybe I only have 5 bags, so there must not be another Eris in here. Thank God.
I'm gonna sneak some in here, John. I actually have stuff to unbox. I won't be unboxing it on stream or anything, but
Yeah,
I got Prowl and Ironhide finally.
very nice.
Amazon really shit the bed on getting this to me, but they did fill it. And then hiding in my drawer here. Oh, is that a Mando?
That is a Mando. Very, very
Yeah,
nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah, I think I may have bought that after a certain episode. Just for I mean, I don't know what episode.
Whoop.
Dump him. What episode I would have bought him after, but I mean,
There you
I don't know
go.
what this is.
Yes, the Bubba the Fett. Does it
And
come?
then also,
Does it come with Fett's vet?
no. But then also, just in case.
Oh, Sabine. Love Sabine.
Yeah, let's just say that episode of The Mandalorian was very good for Disney and Hasbro.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt
And
about
that's just for me.
it. I didn't know they sold a Sabine. I would get a Sabine to guard my.
Hasbro Pulse.
There you go.
Just go to Hasbro Pulse. They got all sorts of stuff there. I did the Mando off Amazon because they didn't have Mando there, but
Nice. All right,
just
so
adding some more to my collection.
So here we are. This is Boomhowler the Destroyer. So how you read this. So here's your picture. So this little icon over here, the fist, says he's a fighter model. Okay, so that's
Yep.
one of the classifications. It's like fighters and guards and all kinds of things. He and it's also color coded with the red, so you know the red cards are always the fighters. Okay, so speed. This is very simple. Speed is 4.
4.
Okay, that means he can move 4 hexes.
That sounds good.
There's no running or anything like that. It's just 4. That's you were going to move 4 or you're not going to move 4. You can move less than 4, but you can't go more than 4.
5 is right out.
5 is right out. 3 is just fine, but you'd like to proceed it immediately on to 4. And if you don't get that reference, you're watching the wrong podcast.
That's the pretty old thing.
Yep. So next to it is the defense, and this is what we were talking about with the super thing.
Yeah,
This is
you said.
so if you're attacking, and we'll get to how you attack and things like that. But if you get 2 successes, you do 1 point of damage. If you get 6 successes, you get 2 points of damage on him, and he
Seems good.
has a stamina or health of 4.
That right. I'm on board.
So that's all there's to it. That's as hard as it gets. Down here, he's got some, and then let's talk about here. Here's his massive jackaxe. He has a massive jackaxe.
I know some massive jackaxes.
Yeah, exactly. What this means is it has a range of 1, so he can attack something that's 1 hex away from him. You cannot exist in a hex with another enemy with another model. So
1 hex away is basically adjacent.
it's mason. Yep, it's adjacent. And you have to spend 1 white die, which is an action die, to do an attack. But on top of that one, and you can throw more as long as you have more in your pool. You also get to have a blue, which is a pretty good die, a better die than a white, and then you get 2 red die. Okay, and those are the best ones. And on top of that, he has something called obliterate. If this model hits an enemy with this attack, and with at least 1 super strike rolled on a power die, this attack automatically does super damage. So if he gets any of his red dies to hit, then he immediately goes to 6 and does a super damage. That's pretty good. That's like obscene. That's really good.
I mean, he's Boomhowler. He's the best unit leader in the game. Back in the day.
Absolutely, and he's also got charge. So when this model spends an action die to run, it gains +1 power die for its melee attacks this activation. So he spends a white die to move, which is a run. He gets 1 red die from that. Then he gets 2 from when he finally gets to do the attack. He's got 3 red, and he just has to get 2 successes amongst all those dice, and as long as 1 of the red ones hits, which has a very high probability of hitting, I think there's only 1 side that doesn't have a success on a red die. You're getting 2 damage. He's like an assured 2 damage monster. And then the other one he has is that you can spend a die to do an action, and his action is hoof it. When a model performs this action, choose another model in your crew within 2 spaces of it, and that model can immediately move up to 3 spaces. And for some characters, that's a full almost a full activation. So, like Leadfoot and Treads, that's super good. He does a hoof it, and then you do then he can. It's nuts. And when doing in Riot Quest, you can only do 1 type of action each turn, but you can do as many of them as you want that you have action dice to do with. Okay? So you can only run once. You can only attack once. You can only do an action once. But you can do all of those things so long as you have enough white dice to pay in to do them. So it's super fun. And then there's a whole bunch of cards. There's obviously some more Riot gear. There's some bounties in here, so there's more bounties. So that's even more different ways of playing the game. Some new treasure cards, and then when you kill one of the characters, you get a scrap card, which gives you 1 victory point. So you get a victory point for killing a thing. You also get victory points for bounties. So there you have it. There's Riot Quest.
Awesome.
I'm very excited about it. It's going to be super fun to get this out on the table, especially the new maps. The new maps will bring a lot of spice to the table. This will be our third map that we have. We
Oh,
have
cool.
one that takes place on between two pirate ships that are slugging it out. We have one that's in like this abandoned mine kind of thing that's got a laboratory in it, and there's an upper level, a middle level, and a lower level, and you can only get to the different levels through certain points. So it creates some choke points. And now we've got this new one with the trapdoors. So
Awesome.
yeah, it could be really fun.
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about Warmer Underworlds too. Is that different maps, which each of the starter sets come with, make a big difference too.
They sure do. So I don't feel like starting to paint right now, to be honest. It is 7:51 Central Time for those of you playing.
Doesn't mean we can't start stuff early. Actually, I'm going to start down my time with something I haven't media-wise that I haven't purchased yet, but I think myself and maybe even you might end up purchasing.
Oh, even me?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance.
Okay.
So, John, do you remember a sequel to a much-loved '80s classic called Tron Legacy?
Yes, I do remember it quite well. I thought it was pretty well done. Had a fantastic soundtrack by the Daft Punks.
Well, it's actually funny you should bring up the soundtrack by Daft Punk. Were you aware, John, that they recently released the complete edition that has like 10 extra tracks to it?
I was not aware of that, but I will now look for this on the Spotify's.
I know I've seen it on Amazon Music. It's I think someone said they have it on YouTube. I'm just going to purchase it through Amazon at probably tonight.
Nice.
Uh,
That was a good
it is
soundtrack.
super cool. Yeah, it was great. Probably one of the best modern soundtracks. You know, I mean, honestly, he's not John Williams. It's so different, but that movie was visually spectacular.
Yeah,
I
it
enjoyed it overall, but that soundtrack just hit it out of the fucking park.
Yeah, it was a highlight of it for sure.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of what I like to say is you can take music. It doesn't have to be just soundtrack music. You can have songs, and it gets in there like songs play, and I see the scenes in my head. This isn't like an Aliens or an Avengers or Star Wars, something I've seen a million times. I've seen Tron Legacy 4 or 5 times, maybe a couple extra times for the scenes that are really good. But you definitely get the feeling out of them, and that is so good in movies. And I think sometimes, especially Marvel movies, as much as I hate to dig on Marvel movies, their soundtracks are often forgettable.
Yeah.
Like I think the first Iron Man, the second Iron Man to a lesser extent because there's AC/DC in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Avengers are the only ones that really, and Captain America are the only ones that really have like big hits. Like the rest of them, like I recognize parts of the Guardians, but doesn't really bring out any emotion.
Yep.
Or I haven't seen the later Avengers, but like the first Avenger soundtrack, I hear parts and I get that chills, like with the helicarrier raising scene. I get the chills of seeing the helicarrier coming out of the ocean for the first time. That was fucking awesome. I think songs need to get back to that, and it's hard when you got something as all encompassing as the Marvel Cinematic Universe to make tons and tons of unique soundtracks. In fact, I don't think that's what they're looking for. They want the moments to be more impressive, which is fine. But part of the reason I don't hate Daredevil. Remember the first Daredevil with Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Part of the reason I don't hate that is because the soundtrack, the rock music in it is so good. It actually works very well for all the moments they made. That's a competently made movie that just Colin Farrell's character was a little odd and some parts were a little odd, but it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, Jennifer Garner is tragic. But it's not a bad movie by any stretch. I need to rewatch that maybe this week since I got 4 days off in a row. But it's just, we need more of that in music. You need that soundtrack to hit and to accompany it. The Harry Potter theme, the Star Wars theme, any of those recognizable themes. Keep using those theme moments. I don't know why they didn't get the guy who did first Iron Man soundtrack to come back. He's the same guy who did Game of Thrones and also Pacific Rim, because he kept part of that theme through all the songs, and it makes it cohesive, and that's what you want. Maybe because some of those songs, Driving with the Top Down and all that, and Merchant of Death and I just cited the titles of songs, the soundtrack songs, I'm a Nerd Like That. they were so, you hear it, you picture seeing him flying or whatever. It's, it's really awesome. So that's definitely a pickup if you guys are interested in Tron Legacy. It's like $12 on Amazon for MP3 album, which is about as much you pay for the extra 10 tracks, so might as well do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's good. Let's see. We've the statute of limitations is probably not up on talking The Mandalorian just yet.
Well, we'll do it at the end so that we can spoiler tag. So, I mean, Legionnaire say so anyone else who watches this video on demand or anything can eject before we spoil anything. But we'll do that last.
Yeah, so getting towards the end of here, probably around 8:20 or 8:15 or so, expect there to be some Mandalorian talk, including spoilers. So if you have not watched it, shame on you. But we will give plenty of spoilerific spoiler warning before that.
Actually, John, let me have a minute for a rant here, real rant.
Sure.
I think I ranted last time about people spoiling Mandalorian. This time it's not about people spoiling the Mandalorian, though it is kind of. That last Friday, I was on. I'm working all day. I have to start work at 7:30 in the morning. I get a couple breaks during the day, theoretically speaking, and I'm not done until 8 p.m.
Yep.
So it's a long period, and it's not all work. I get to take some sanity breaks and all. So no one I know spoiled any part of The Mandalorian. Good on all of you. Unfortunately, the what's trending on Twitter spoiled part of The Mandalorian.
You're kidding me.
And nope, it's because so many people were talking about it on Twitter. So many of you fuckers out there, not you guys, most of you guys listening to this won't do that. So many fuckers out there were talking about specific parts of The Mandalorian so specifically that it affected the what's trending on Twitter. So good job to all you fuckers. I hope you divert in that special hell.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Come on, guys.
I just
the day it comes out, not like the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday following. For Christ's sake, the Monday following, generally the Mandalorian Twitter page spoils shit. At that point, you're done.
Yeah.
Now, I will say in this case, what they spoiled was what I expected to happen.
Yeah.
And really didn't detract from the episode like that first spoiler did.
We'll get into it and where I thought things were going to happen and that didn't and whatever. But
so my little wrap on that.
Yep. So right now, Belle and I are watching, obviously Mandalorian, The Expanse, and we've
gotta catch up with Expanse, man.
And then Discovery. And
that too.
Have you watched?
So far behind on everything.
Have you watched? You're not caught up on Discovery yet. Okay.
Not the drive to the point home. Kind of work until 8 p.m. every day means that me and the roomie don't have time to watch it.
I get it.
So I'm looking at probably, let's get lucky, February before I can start it, really.
So here's what I'm going to say about Discovery real quick. Discovery, I think it's been an up and down season for Discovery. I would say that here in the recent couple weeks, and I'm not going to go into details. There's a couple episodes that I was just not a huge fan of. But this last one that just was on this week, I thought brought it back into form. I thought it was pretty well done. We'll
kind of like season one, a little up and down, not the just absolute amazing after amazing of season two.
No, it's not. I mean, it's got its. No, it's nowhere near season two. Season three has got way more up and down. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it, but there's some storylines that I don't care for in the Discovery storyline, and they get played out a little bit harder in season three, but there's a great payoff in the most recent episode. So anyway, can we talk for a minute about Gamera movies?
I mean, by all means.
Yeah, let's talk about Gamera movies for a second. So I've discovered, John, were you aware that all of the Gamera movies are on Tubi?
You told me that, I believe, 2 weeks ago, sir.
Okay. I've watched more Gamera since then, and I am now convinced that the only way that makes logical sense to watch a Gamera movie is by watching the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of it.
That does not bode well for my Gamera collection sitting downstairs.
I'm sorry. The
Don't be. It was $5 and it's like a ton of movies.
I grew up watching Gamera movies that were not with the MST3K gang. The children in Gamera movies, whether it's Itchy or it's Kenny or it's Kenny's sister, I don't know how this happened, but
He facepalmed in the middle of his description. It's amazing.
but there's Itchy's sister, who I can't remember her name, is straight up Minnesotan. I mean, just the whitest girl you've ever seen in your pumpkin spice latte courses through this girl's blood at the young age of, let's say, 5 or 6 or whatever she is. Mom could not be more Japanese. Dad, ostensibly dad, could not be more Japanese, which leads to questions and theories. I think that the mom, who is her which is the girl's biological mother, may have become romantically entwined with perhaps an American service member, as I've heard can happen. I mean, when a soldier loves a girl very, very much, and then did the American thing and ran out on her ass.
I hate that that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's very true. And then a very well-intentioned and kind and generous Japanese fella came in and provided a male role model for the young girl and married his mom and made everything honorable. So I think that's what happened in this case. Because I am going to tell you what, there's just no goddamn way. That is not a genetic mutation that happens. You don't have...
I mean, so John, you're telling me that in a Gamera movie, with a Gamera...
In Gamera world,
that young girl being the biological daughter of those two parents is your deal breaker.
it broke me. It broke.
Okay.
It broke my immersion in the Gamera universe.
It's what Trollton Heston, I'd call it for Trollton Heston, your helicopter moment. And that's a long callback. So.
There are other issues. There's other issues. There's a moment when Gamera starts dancing. Turtles dancing is odd.
Come on. Is it any more odd than Godzilla and Jet Jaguar?
No, it's same odd.
Okay.
Same odd.
To be fair, that is one of my favorite Godzilla movies for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, that is a pretty disaster.
And another one where you probably should just watch the MS3K version, where I laughed so hard I felt like I was going to die.
That movie is...
And it would have been a good death.
That movie is the Olsen twins come in monster movie form. It's just a disaster.
But not their younger sister.
What's that?
But not their younger sister.
No, not the younger one, just the twins.
Successful career.
Yeah, just the twins. Just the twins are the ones that are basically a car crash in slow motion. So
you don't want to watch, but you can't look away.
It's like, wow, it's like there's an outhouse. Yep, there's the hole. I'll get back to you. So Gamera movies are not as good as Godzilla movies.
They are ostensibly still knockoffs. They were, trying to ride that Godzilla, get that sweet, sweet Godzilla money.
You see, you try to ride on Godzilla's tail, you're gonna get burned. You're gonna get the atomic flame.
Everyone comes to challenge the king. There's a reason he's the king.
Hail to the king. Baby.
Hail to the king.
Hail to the
Ron.
king, baby. Hey, Ron. So what have you been watching, homeboy?
So I did manage to get 3 more episodes of Clone Wars watched. It's been a little busier these past couple weeks than I thought, but I will continue to watch some as permits.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it was I forget what episode 14 was about, but it was in one shot. But it was cliched, but it's good. I get a one shot at Kraken. It was enjoyable. The next one is the beginning of Obi-Wan pretends to be a Jedi murderer,
Yeah.
so he can infiltrate. And that one's, I'm sorry, everyone who loves Cad Bane, I'm happy for you. I don't like him.
Hondo's way better than Cad Bane.
Even the little I've seen in the early seasons of Hondo, he seems much more interesting. Cad Bane is all the wrong cliches put together.
No, I'm not a big Cad Bane guy. Hondo, however, is one of my favorite characters in the whole show, and in Rebels as well.
So those next two episodes get about 2 shots of Kraken each. They're not great.
Yeah, they're not.
But again, I can see the overall quality is getting better. In season 1 or 2, those would have been 1 shot of crack, or would have been 4 shot of Kraken, shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
Type episode. So they're getting better. We'll see. I'm gonna try and get through season 4. I mean, I could say by the new year. We'll see. Next week should be kind of slow. We'll see what I can get done. But I want to get through season 4, get season 5, hopefully get to the good stuff that keeps me in there and watching it.
Season 5 ends. Season 5 is where, and you got to get all the way to the end of season 5.
So here's the thing: is I can see the beginnings of what they're trying to do. You can see Anakin's anger coming out. They're laying some good groundwork now. And you can see Ahsoka start to question things. So that's all good. It's just they weren't given the series that they should have had. It's not the series that Dave Filoni deserved to make.
No, but you can see that Dave Filoni, towards once you get to the end of season 5, and all the way through 6, and for the most part 7.
I forgot all those announcements came out since we last talked, didn't they?
Yeah. So, you haven't met the Bad Batch yet?
No, but I hear they're going to have a series now. I imagine you're not super excited.
Surprised.
That was big deal. You were one of the few naysayers I've heard in the Bad Batch love.
I don't like the Bad Batch. I think they're cliche. I think they're Mary Sue, and by the time their arc was over with in season 7, I had grown to like them. They definitely grew from their first episode to the end of their arc, but I could have gone the rest of my life without hearing from the Bad Batch ever again. And
that meant Fennec's going to be in it too.
Yeah.
With me now doing the voice, which is cool.
Yep. Hondo deserves a frickin' series before that. The best thing that could possibly happen. Okay, are we ready for a spoiler on Mando? What time is it? Okay.
No, let's talk a little more about those. Actually, I don't think anyone needs to hear. So since it's only Legionnaires, I don't need to talk about the Jewel of the Nile again. I talked about that on the other podcast.
Yep.
It was enjoyable, not quite as good as Romancing the Stone. You should still see it if you saw Romancing the Stone. Proceed.
Yep. By the way, Hondo, I agree with Legionnaires here. Hondo rocks. I hope he gets a model in the Star Wars minigame. Yeah, he deserves one. That whole.
Well, they're starting to get to the point where they're getting some weirder stuff in. Some of the newer characters have flaws that give your opponents cards, I think, in their command hand that can do stuff. So that's kind of cool.
I will tell you, Hondo has no flaws. Anyway, so okay, folks, from this point forward, you watch the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday night experience at your own risk. You have been warned. We are now going to talk about The Mandalorian in no uncertain terms as two people who have watched all of the episodes that are available to us. This is your last warning. Do not watch anything from this point forward. I will not tolerate bad comments in the comment section. Not that I ever get any. But remember to subscribe and like and smash that bell button if you want children to get infusions with eagle blood to prevent COVID-22. All right, anyway, there you go. So, I want Hondo to show up with Boba Fett on Tatooine, and for them to kind of get together and provide. And he's got his piratey ways, and you got the Mando who's running the show now. You got Boba Fett running the show now at Jabba's palace. That'd be some good eating right there. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a good chance of it. I mean, with the Book of Boba Fett show, since
Mm-hmm.
they didn't announce it originally, but they announced it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's plenty of space to put a lot of that seedy underbelly, and I think what they're going to try and do probably is remember they were originally going to do that. I forget what it's called, but like they had a sort of Mandalorian Boba Fett series set on Coruscant that they wanted to get out in the past before Lucasfilm was bought, and now I think they're going to recycle some of that stuff,
Yep.
which is good.
Yep. Did Boba Fett not look like Conan sitting on
Oh my
his
God.
throne
All thought about that. They needed someone that sounded like Mako to go, but that is a story for
for
another
time? And he
Everyone got
sat
the cone
upon
theory.
his throne with a furrowed brow. Oh my God, that was so good.
As I mentioned him, Mako. Run.
Yep. Anyway, so really super excited.
Oh yeah.
Anyone. So I saw it when the X-wing pulls in. Going into the episode, I thought for sure we were going to see Ira Bridger. That Ira Bridger was going to come back, and you've not seen Rebels yet. But Ira Bridger is the
Ezra, right?
Ezra. Excuse me, Ezra Bridger is the Padawan in Rebels that gets
I saw
trained.
the first season.
Okay, so you know who he is, Ezra.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to see him come back.
Oh, my money was on Luke Skywalker the whole time.
Oh, that's more than I had going on.
Yeah, and then of course Twitter spoiled it.
Yeah, well,
that's not like that's a spoiler. You're like, it's fine. At that point, you're like, okay, I know they're going to get something. Someone's going to show up, and it's going to bail them out of this shit. That's the only way that's going to end. Being Luke was super cool. Shows that they can keep secrets, which means everything's on the table every time they have an episode, because they kept that secret for a fucking year.
Yep. So,
plus Luke had his hallway scene to match Vader's hallway scene.
That's very true. It's true. Do you remember the podcast Partyfall?
Yes.
If you had to describe Partyfall in a single word, what is that word? And Scott Tellerico in particular, what is that word that you would use?
Oh, I never listened to a whole podcast. Quite literally, was fuck them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's two. But you could
terrible influence on War Machine and Hordes at certain points.
Rich got Luke Skywalker spoiled by Tellerico because he put on Facebook the day of the episode drop. The Mark Hamill put on his Twitter a picture of him going shh, and Tellerico put on there The Mandalorian, and then put Mark Hamill's picture on it with going shh.
That fucker.
Oh, I just
so Rich, I know you're not listening, but you need a backup when you go to murder this fucker. You let me know. I got you.
Just the worst human being ever.
Yeah, come on.
To me, that's like walking out of Empire and yelling, "Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father." I mean,
you'd never believe that shit though. Going in, you wouldn't believe it.
I don't know.
And then it had me like, oh, that fucker said so. That motherfucker.
Yeah.
Also, if you're going in, you don't have the time to think about that. As soon as those credits start, you've forgotten what that one moron said.
I hope you're right, but it was a dick move.
It was a dick.
Don't listen to Partyfall anymore because it doesn't exist anyway. There you go. By the way,
I got into it with my boy Jan Falange, Devil Squid, and obviously I backed the Devil Squid and they're being dicks, and you don't fuck with the Devil Squid.
No. By the way, for the record, Painting with Menoth John, still going strong. Anyway, so
yep.
Because we keep it on the positive tip. Anyway,
that's right, positive side.
So the Mandalorian was the finale was just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I sit back and I think I'm like, man, they punked those stormtroopers, but you know what? Those are 4 badass chicks, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love how in some scenes they're hiding behind the Mandalorians, letting them take the shots.
Mm-hmm.
In other scenes, the Mandalorians are, it's just, I'm like, you know what? Is it the best Is it the best, directed fight scenes ever? No, God, no. Is it enjoyable as fuck? Oh, hell yes.
And the first time I think, and Bella and I were talking about this, in science fiction history that we can remember, there being 4 very strong female leads just kicking ass, just doing the action scene, and that was really, really good.
It was very cool.
So have you seen the speculation that Imperial Comms Officer might have been Sabine? The Imperial Comms Officer. Which one was that one?
No, I didn't see anything like that. That's the one who does recurring role telling Moff Gideon what's going on.
We didn't see her get wasted.
We did. I'm pretty sure we saw her got shot. I remember seeing that. But they were all dead. Let's be honest.
There's no universe where Sabine Wren is dead. She's way too good of a character to nail off just indiscriminately.
Yeah, there's no reason it should be. No. In any case,
anyway,
if there was a reason for it to be Imperial, that'd be spoilers on Tommy.
Yeah.
I've only seen one season of Rebels. That's on my list. That's got to get there.
Sabine Wren. Sabine has one of the strongest arcs in Rebels.
Oh yeah, that's what I hear.
And they all have good arcs in Rebels. I mean, it's just good. So.
Get better, John. You
Sabine?
can take her helmet off.
And she's got the cool hair. Oh, she's got the season 1 hair. Nice. Yeah. I'm actually so there's a model for Riot Quest named Dez, and I'm going to put it up here on the still store. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Boom. Okay, here she is. This is Dez, and you better bet she's getting the Sabine Wren hair.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, she's terrific.
Yeah, that was super cool. I pretty much enraptured from the beginning to the end of that episode. I like that they had Fett be more of a background part in that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yep.
Oh, you don't need to have him before and everything. Fennec got her part. I mean, Cara Dune got her part. It was very cool in general. Obviously, there's a little bit of problem with the whole Darksaber thing, since even though I haven't seen all Rebels, I know Sabine gives Darksaber to Bo-Katan. And why she can't take it now, no one knows. I'm sure that'll come out. They'll write themselves out of that corner.
Oh yeah, they will. I like.
In a perfect world, I'm a little disappointed they got in that corner. They should know better. But if they're writing themselves out of it, they probably already have written themselves out of it. I'm sure it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, especially with Filoni at the helm. I mean, there's no reason why. I'm hoping that Filoni works Fett's Vet into the book of Boba Fett. That'd be amazing. For those of you who don't know what Fett's Vet is a reference to, MC Chris. You need to. Fett's Vet is off of the name of the album is what the heck is the name? It's something's my pimp or something like that. It's just look up MC Chris. It's the first EP he ever did, and it has Fett's Vet on it, and it is some of the best nerdcore rap you will ever listen to. But something life's a bitch and I'm its pimp or something like that.
Yep, that's the one. I just looked it up on my iTunes.
Yeah, and it's got a Mandalorian helmet as the symbol.
And the common video for it is literally from like one of the old Star Wars MMOs and walking around in Mandalorian armor, which is super cool.
Yep, cool. So there you have your spoilers for the Mandalorian. It's amazing, folks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Excited about all those other reveals. You know, the Ahsoka series.
Yes.
Lando Calrissian series.
Yeah.
All the other series. But it would not be me if I did not say those are all really interesting. Book of Boba Fett, really interesting. They're all a very distant number 2 or further from a fucking Rogue Squadron movie. Rogue Squadron is my motherfucking jam.
Now, okay.
I love the Rogue Squadron books. Holy crap. I mean, it doesn't hurt that Mike Stackpole's probably my favorite author.
Yep.
And he did a good characterization of those people. And if you guys haven't checked them out, they're all what's called legends now, so they're not really canon, but they are a good read. Mike Stackpole is good at mixing politics and action and everything in there too. He was the man in charge of BattleTech books for a long, long time, and they're like Game of Thrones in space. Game of Thrones is cool and all that, but you could kind of say they sort of stole BattleTech's jam. It's really different. I'm sure he didn't actually, but there's some similar ideas going on there.
Nobody in BattleTech ever jumped onto a battle mech with a knife and knifed it, and the battle mech like just exploded. That just never happened.
That did not ever happen, though. I
Yeah.
mean, if anyone did, it would be Kyle or Lau or Phelan Kell, because they're both kind of those kind of guys. In any case, also you had Legionnaires. Wraith Squadron. Wraith Squadron was done by Aaron Allison. I believe he's passed, so rest in peace. I'm pretty sure he did pass. They were also very good. A little different feeling, but check all those books out, guys. I mean, even though they're all legends now, they're not official canon, they're still good reads in the Star Wars universe.
I am unclear.
And Dave Filoni and crew are showing that they're taking anything they want from the Star Wars old expanded universe and added it into current canon. That's why you get Thrawn in fucking Rebels. That's why you get all this stuff. They're taking everything they can.
I am unclear what's canon, not canon, or legends anymore, because Mando has opened up so many cans of fish of stuff I thought was closed that it's like, oh, I guess legends isn't a thing that we need to worry about anymore.
Well, technically speaking, anything from prior to Disney taking over Star Wars is legends until it shows up in canon.
Fair enough.
That does include Clone Wars. Clone Wars is pretty much canon. They haven't contradicted too much, but if they contradict it, it's okay. It's because it's not really all canon necessarily.
Got it.
So pretty much The Force Awakens and Rebels on is absolutely canon. And since I did season 7's canon, which means everything related to season 7 is probably canon too. But I like that they're not afraid to rewrite stuff. And there are some wild theories going around, John, that they're going to write out the sequel trilogy. I'm
pretty convinced that they are turning the page on those 3 movies.
Which is too bad, because there's some really, really good parts. There's some mistakes too, and obviously I'll talk about those when I finally get there. We'll have some long discourse on those, because I think they are, well, overall the most polarizing of the movies. I mean, we can say the original trilogy is polarizing, but people who love them because they saw them when they were kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these are great. They're not great. Like, I'm glad you enjoy them. I'm happy for everyone who enjoys the crap out of those.
I'm happy
They're not as terrible as us old grognards make them out to be by any stretch. It's just that when you compare it to such a great trilogy, everything kind of pales. Our headcanon for what happened before Star Wars was so much better than any of those movies except for Rogue One.
I can fix the first episodes 1, 2, and 3 with the flick of a pen, and all you've got to do is cut out every courtship scene between Padme and Hayden Christensen. If you just do that, you would have shorter movies, but they would be better.
There's a couple scenes, if you remember. We did review everything but the Phantom Menace way back when. And
the scene at the fucking diner with the fat guy with the Camino thing. Yeah.
So also the people love this scene. I don't know why they love this scene. The scene at the opera with Palpatine and Anakin. When someone talks about, have you heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Darth Plagueis Wise. One of those words don't fucking match. That boy playing you, and you should know you're being played. You should have cut his bitch ass down right there. In any case, and also there's one scene that always gets me every time I start watching Revenge of the Sith. I go in, I'm like, man, this is really cool. Why do I hate this movie? And then they fire missiles and turn into droids that try and disassemble starships, which is the stupidest motherfucking thing in sci-fi. And I'm going to stick on that fucking hill. Come fight me. Stupid. If they just exploded, guess what? Obi-Wan dead. Job's a good one. Let's go home, boys.
And that, folks, is an episode of Painting with Menoth John. Folks, we are going to turn this mother around in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, Rich! We mentioned Rich, and he shows up. Rich, if you need someone to help you with that motherfucker who's spoiled, you let me know. Yes. I got you, Bob.
Yes. We are going to be keying up a very special episode of the Mothership RPG after this. The intrepid troops have themselves a dilemma on their hands. They've arrived at a orbital space station with no goddamn idea how the fuck they got there, because they don't have a spaceship. we are going to we're going to fix that plot hole this evening here on the Mothership RPG. But for now, John, this is the end of the Painting with Menoth John extravaganza. You know it. You loved it. It happened. It was a thing. We laughed. We cried. We kissed 90 minutes goodbye. We're going to do this shit in 2 more weeks. Let's see. That would be, I don't know, be in January or something.
Yeah, it would be January. I have a calendar on the wall. That says January 6th, sir.
All right. So, on behalf of the mighty right hand of the podcast, you know him, you love him. That's Mr. John Spencer. I'm Menoth John. We're wishing you the very happiest of holidays. If you celebrate the Christmas, good on you. And Merry Christmas. You celebrate something else. Good on you. Happy holiday to you. We will be back in 2 weeks with more actual painting, as we are wont to do sometimes. And good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Good night.
How do I leave this thing here? I gotta go find the right. There we go. I got so many scenes now because of the Mothership. Here we go. Boom. And
Okay, the highlight of my day.
boom. There we go. Production values.
Professionals. Not for professional.
Not really. Not so much. Good night, everybody.